My lord, what have my eyeballs seen tonight? Wow. I was not expecting a 4-1 defeat at Old Trafford tonight. I wasn't expecting that. I thought we were going to lose the game. But today, Man United took advantage of a team that showed a lot of youthful inexperience and a team that continues to show that they have zero identity, zero chemistry, zero understanding in those crucial details that matter the most. What are they? How we finish our moves off in the final thirds, and of course how we defend around our books in our own half. These are the crucial failures time and time again that come to bite us in the arse. But at the same time, I feel like I've got some criticisms to make, but they feel very hollow considering the context of where the season is right now. And I'm looking at the game plan and it's like, you know what, Frank, I understand you're a manager that's all about playing attacking football, playing football on the forefront, really taking the game to your opponents. I understand and I respect that. But for this type of attacking style to be like a viable approach, you have to also feel like you have a team that is good enough to take its opportunities, that's good enough to bury chances, that's good enough to turn a game just like that. And we aren't that team. We are not that team whatsoever. And throughout this game, the only reason why Man United battered us today, was that literally it was just like counter-attacking vibes throughout. Like we're throwing men forward, we're throwing the fullbacks forward, we've got options inside the books, we're missing opportunities for fun. Players all of a sudden can't even connect with the ball when they've got no one on them. But we're seeing like peak Chelsea FC finishing for this season, and every time we lose the ball in our half, we can't counter-press, we can't regroup and collect our positions, and in the end, it's just simple counter-attacks down the flanks for Man United that's opening us up time and time and time and time again. And that was the game. Like for a casual viewer, this was a fun game, like very open, very end-to-end, very end-of-season vibe in this game as well too, and it makes it more fun. Let's keep it real. But there was a time back in the day where teams used to be scared about playing open against us because we would bury them. We would take our chances. We had the power. We had the strength. We had the skill. We had all these components that we have flashes of. We do show that. Like when we lose most of these games, we lose by just missing out those fine margins. Like we're still able to compete. We're not getting out-competed yet. There's only been a few games this season where that's happened. For the most of our games this season, it's because we can't score opportunities and we can't defend around our books and we invite too much pressure and there's too much like critical failures throughout. Like I'm looking at some of Man United's goals today and they took advantage of the fact that our defence has never played together. Like they haven't played any games. And I keep saying defence is about the unit. It's about the collective, right? That's why these guys are out of position. That's why we're playing on their forwards on side and all these little silly details that you would never really see if like the big main boys like Ben and Reece James were back in this team. So against a team like United who only kind of play this way under Ten Hag, they're going to try and take advantage of our weaknesses, and tonight they definitely did because United have that thing we don't have at all, and that is that clinical finishing spirit. Because you know what, in the first half in particular, there was a 30-minute spell as the first half was ending where wow, we were really dominating Man United and creating tons of opportunities. And you're looking at some of the misses, my lords. Like, this sums up our season even more. Lewis Hall's deliveries on the left-hand side, Kai Havertz missing, not even getting his headed attempts on target. Like, we don't even see that, you guys. Like, when these guys are in this position, they're not even getting their efforts on target just to give the op keeper something to do in the game. I'm looking at Mudryk near the start to another Lewis Hall cutback cross. Mudryk, the confidence is not there. And listen, I feel like there's still a talent here. Mudryk is definitely going to need a pre-season. He needs that because his confidence is in the mud right now. And for where he is at, he doesn't need unnecessary pressure. Sometimes behind the scenes, we're fans. We have to also like have the levity of mind to be like, I'm not a professional football player. I don't know everything. I'm not going to act like things I don't know are awful, and I'm not going to look to weaponize them. And for everyone that was really about Mudryk, listen, more game time would have been nice, but at the same time, you have to earn it, and he quite clearly needs a bit more support because, again, the lack of confidence he's showing as he's close to goal now is a far cry to how he first started for us once he signed for us in January. Now, this is only a temporary thing that does not reflect the full worth of the player. But I think he needs a pre-season even more, and today it was another disappointing showing from him. But on top of that, I'm looking at Conor Gallagher. Of course, Conor, probably his poorest, weakest game, since his revival, playing consistently in our midfield three. Of course, some of his shots not on target, like when Enzo is finally split open that Man United defence. Conor's not even getting the shot on target, and it's just guys, that's what I said at the start of this video. If you want to play this type of football, you need to also feel like, you can win these games because your team can take these opportunities. We can't do that. You guys, I can go on with the countless moves and plays that got broken down. And you're seeing just a criminal lack of understanding, which is obviously going to be a thing, right? When you've used a million different lineup variations and teams throughout this season. This is why we are so bad, and it's a very unsalvable situation. My friends, I can keep going on, but we did have a few small positives in this game today. Now, one of the prevailing stats before this game started was the fact that this was our youngest ever Premier League squad that we've, of course, fitted out. With the average age being 23 years and 238 days. And of course, when guys like Silva are in the team, that's going to make the average age, a lot more fairer. But I kind of feel like the performances we saw today from Lewis Hall, Carnes, Madueke, very lively performances. And I'd probably say that Lewis Hall is probably our best player throughout the entire night today. And that's saying a lot. Now, he should feel very unlucky and annoyed that he didn't get an assist today, because twice on 2 occasions he played perfectly weighted balls across that Man United 6-yard box, only for them to get fumbled time and time again. This guy's timing of his overlaps down that left hand side, he gets them spot on to a T. And bro, look at the delivery, that consistency. Lewis Hall can affect the game by getting inside the opponent's box. He can overlap, he can play a first time ball, he's got the skill and technique to beat his man as well. And he plays quick. It's all 1 touch, 2 touch. He doesn't slow the play down. And I have to say this, because I kind of think it's a bit criminal and shocking that I look at something like a Cucurella. I probably accept that maybe there's some personal stuff outside the scenes that's affecting his season. Who knows? I mean, everyone's been quite bad in that sense. I get it. But considering that other than that one game versus Dortmund when we played in a back three in the second leg, I don't think there's been one performance from Cucurella this season that comes anywhere near close to what Lewis Hall has been showing. And these are Lewis Hall performances where Hall is still making a mistake or 2 or even 3 at a time in a game. But look at how he outweighs those negatives by what he's producing in the final thirds. And I was thinking we spent over 60 million for a guy that isn't worth this type of money. Even though he's a good player, he is not worth that value at all. And it's just we have these guys who produce in our academy for free who can just instantly come into the team, take the game on in Old Trafford, put in a standout performance as well too. And then you're thinking to yourself, where is the future for Lewis Hall? Because my thing is, you give this kid 1,000+ minutes on top of what he picked up this season for next season. By the time this guy is 21, 22 years old, you're looking at someone that is incredibly complete, that you produce for absolutely nothing, and you strengthen the first team and the squad as well too. But it's just do we have that vision? Can we create those opportunities for Lewis Hall? Because with that competition for next season, with even Maatsen potentially getting looked into, Cucurella, of course, still here, Ben as well. I feel like this is where we undermine what we do at this football club. We undermine the talent at the end of the day, because it's quite clear that some of these guys that we're signing aren't anywhere above the levels of the guys we're producing from our club. And I'm really saying this. Cucurella hasn't shown one game where he's showed this amount of attacking enterprise that Lewis Hall shows regularly when he has been called upon throughout this season, So I have to say shout out to Lewis Hall today. I thought Carnes looked very effective. I was a bit frustrated that he couldn't play on the left-hand side, but I can understand that with Azpilicueta being an old man on the right-hand side, you need a bit of support for Madueke. Obviously, quick shout out to Joao Felix. I thought he took his goal very well. I think that's his 5th goal during his loan spell with us. And all I want to quickly say is this. For every goal this guy has scored, he has kind of created by himself and made these goals happen from nowhere. And throughout the entire of the squad, who has come anywhere near close to producing these same types of goals or moments as Joao Felix? Absolutely no one. I do feel like there's some promise potential with him if we had the right structures, the right type of game plan and identity, Felix could potentially complement that for next season for sure. Because I think with what he's shown here, it hasn't all been doom and gloom. And I'm not going to use this entirety of this season to paint him in a negative light as if he was like this messiah savior that could single-handedly make us climb up the table, because that don't happen in the game anymore. And just focusing on what he does do, there has been a lot of positives compared to the negatives. So I'm going to say shout out to Joao Felix tonight. I really felt for our defence today. I kind of feel like, because they've not really played any games together with like two fullbacks that they're not really used to, I kind of felt like they were the real victims of the game today. Yeah, there were some poor individual mistakes for sure, especially the penalty that we gave away to Man United, some of the cheap counter-attacks at the end for the fourth goal. You know, there's terrible mistakes made. But I kind of feel like with how open this game was and how, you know, we were putting these guys on blast when Man United were creating like 5v4s and 4v3s against us, you know, throughout large parts of this game, your defense is eventually going to get exposed, right? And I think that was what happened today. But it's weird, you know, as I said, you know, some of the criticism feels a bit hollow based on the context of where we are this season. Because on top of that, I mean, how else can we really play? I mean, we're going to lose these games, right? I'd hate if we came there, parked the bus, defended. That would be embarrassing, in my opinion. We'd still probably end up losing the game. We did enough in this game. The stats kind of show, listen, United had 18 shots, we had 14. We had more possession. You know, we had more dribbles against them. We won more aerial deals. We won more tackles. A lot of stuff we ranked a bit higher. But in the key moments that define the game, like in terms of how we pick teams off in the final third, that is the difference between a club like us and Man United, who have tons of these killers and finishers everywhere in their team. And, you know, if there's one thing I want to see from Pochettino, there's only one thing: he has to bring back that killer edge and make us ruthless killers in the final third. That is all I care about right now. And that's going to take the most work to get us firing like that, yeah? So my friends, that is the end to this review. There was going to be a news video I was going to release as a double upload, but I think it's way too late. So I'm going to release it pretty early in tomorrow morning. So stay tuned for that. And on that note, I'm the EFC. This is BlueLionsTV. I'll catch you guys there with some more videos. Cool.